guys. Happy Thursday. Holy Week, and it's Monday, Thursday. And we're going to go to John for this. We've been in Matthew, but I want to go to John, chapter 13, starting at verse 1. Because we're going to learn about serving and who showed us how to serve. And today, again, John chapter 13, verse 1. Before the Passover celebration, Jesus knew that his hour had come to leave this world and return to his Father. Jesus knew what was about to happen. The Father had prepared him, and he knew what he was here for, and he knew. He now showed the disciples the full extent of his love. It was time for supper, and the devil had already enticed Judas, so the devil had already got Judas to betray Jesus, son of Simon Iscariot, to carry out his plan to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had given him authority over everything, and he had come from God and would return to God. So he wasn't worried, he wasn't scared. He knew where he was going. He knew what was going to happen. So he got up from the table, took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water in a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel he had around him. Washing feet is a symbol of humility. It is a symbol of being a servant and loving somebody and caring about them. When he came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him, "Lord, why are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You don't understand now why I'm doing it. Someday you will. Someday you'll understand it." "No," Peter protested, "you will never wash my feet." Jesus replied, "But if I don't wash your feet, you won't belong to me. If I don't do this, you don't belong to me." So Simon Peter exclaimed, "Well, if you're going to do that, then wash my hands and my head as well. Lord, not just my feet. If you're gonna, if that's what it's going to take, and then wash me all, wash all of me, just not my feet, just not only my feet, wash my hands, my head." Jesus replied, "A person who has bathed all over does not need to wash except for the feet to be entirely clean, and you are clean, but that isn't true of everyone here." For Jesus knew who would betray him, what it was. That is what he meant when he said, "Not all of you are clean." After washing their feet, he put on his robe again and sat down and asked, "Do you understand what I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, because it is true. And since I, the Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow." So he's given us an example of how we should do what he's asked us to do. He's given us an example of humility and washing someone else's feet. Do as I have done to you. How true is it that a servant is not greater than the master, nor the messengers more important than the one who sends them? You know these things, now do them. That is the path of blessing. I am not saying these things to all of you. I know so well each one of you I chose. The scriptures declare, "The one who shares my food has turned against me," and this will soon come true. I tell you this now so that when it happens, you will believe that I am the Messiah. Truly, anyone who welcomes my messenger is welcoming me, and anyone who welcomes me is welcoming the Father who sent me. So we washed their feet. I had never washed feet before. When we were in town, they had a foot washing service, and I skipped it because I have a foot phobia. I don't want to touch anybody's feet, and I don't want anybody's feet touching me. And my girls unfortunately got that from me because they're the same way. But I don't like, I don't want to touch feet. But we had a women's retreat up at David and Linda Frick's lake house at Lake Hudson, and Linda had us do a foot washing ceremony. And I can honestly tell you, I cried all the way through that ceremony. I washed Sister Wanda Hewitt's feet. And it was such an honor for me because I consider her a spiritual mother. She's just been a God sent to me. I know she prays for me, and I know that she's steadfast in her faith. And getting to wash her feet really humbled me. But then her washing my feet, whew, that was even more humbling. Because I admire her and I look up to her so much. But I understood so much more once we did that. I asked the ladies if they wanted to have a foot washing service, and it was a resounding no. But I still told them, one day you're going to show up and there's going to be basins, and we're going to do it, because that's what Jesus has asked us to do. So I don't know when it'll be, because I'm not going to tell him. I'm just going to surprise him. But he showed us what it was like to humble ourselves and to serve other people. Sorry, I'm emotional, and I knew I was going to be. But he showed us how to serve other people, and he even says, I want you to go do this. I want you to go do this, but not all of you are going to do this, because all of you don't have the same heart. Because one heart had already turned dead. And that hurts my heart to think that Judas had walked with him for however long he had walked with him, even if it was just for a week. He got to see how amazing Jesus was. But sometimes that happens to us too. We've walked a hard road with someone. We've been there. We've done all of the things, and they just walk away or turn around and stab us in the back, or call us names, or curse at us, or whatever it may be. You thought that they were your just true friend, and come to find out they didn't even think like that about you. You were just something that was convenient for them, and they could use you to get what they needed and take advantage of you, or whatever it may be. But Jesus is telling us to humble ourselves. And then they have the Last Supper. And in the Last Supper, Jesus says again, now Jesus was in great anguish of spirit, and he exclaimed, the truth is, one of you will betray me. One of you will betray me. And it anguished him. It hurt his heart. The disciples looked at each other, wondering who it could have been. One of Jesus' disciples, the one Jesus loved, was sitting next to Jesus at the table. Simon Peter motioned to him to ask who would do this terrible thing. Leaning towards Jesus, he asked, Lord, who was it? Jesus said, it was the one whom I gave the bread dipped in the sauce. And when he had dipped it, he gave it to Judas, son of Simon Iscariot. As soon as Judas had eaten the bread, Satan entered him. Then Jesus told him, hurry, do it now. None of the others at the table knew what Jesus meant. Since Judas was their treasurer, some thought Jesus was telling him to go and pay for the food, or to give some money to the poor. So Judas left at once, going into the night. As soon as Judas left the room, the time has come for me, the Son of Man, to enter into my glory, and God will receive glory because of all that happens to me. And God will bring me into my glory very soon. Dear children, how brief are these moments before I must go away and leave you. Then, though you search for me, you cannot come to me, just as I told the Jewish leader. So now I'm giving you a new commandment. Love each other. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. Simon Peter said, Lord, where are you going? And Jesus said, you can't go with me now, but you will follow me later. But I want to come now, Lord. He asked, I am ready to die for you. And Jesus answered, die for me? No, before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will have denied me 3 times. You will deny that 3 times that you even knew me. Whew. He gave out some truth. He gave out some truth in that Last Supper. One of you is going to betray me. One of you is going to deny that you knew me 3 times. But he also broke bread. And they also drank the communion wine. They had communion together. He loved on them. He served them. He washed their feet. He served them. He is setting an example of what we should be doing today for one another. Do we do that very well? Probably not. Some people do, some people just don't. Some people feel that they should be served because they've been serving for however many years, and that's just not the way it is. We serve until the Lord tells us to stop serving. Just like we should be, we stay at a church until the Lord tells us to leave. Not because we got mad that they changed color of the carpet, not because we got mad because they moved the piano, not because we got mad that they played the hymn that you just absolutely dislike, or whatever it may be. You don't leave a church until Jesus tells you to leave that church. Sometimes that's difficult because we get in a hurry and we get frustrated and we get sad or upset or whatever it may be. But he is showing us in these verses how to serve one another in love and humility. And that is what we need to be doing. Tomorrow, Good Friday. And how can they call it Good Friday? We talked about that in women's meeting Sunday and Wednesday. And it's Good Friday because what he did is good for us. Without that, we have no good. We had no hope. But because of him and our new covenant, we have the hope of eternal life. So we'll talk about Good Friday tomorrow. I'm hoping I get it done a little bit earlier in the day. Just seems like these days have just been running all together this week, but I hope to get it done a little earlier in the day because I have some bags to prepare for the kids on Easter Sunday. So I got a lot to do tomorrow, but tomorrow's Good Friday. And we always have to think that Sunday's coming. Even on the hard days, that Sunday's coming. I hope you have a great, great evening. Storms last night. I honestly went to bed about 11. If it hit after that, I didn't hear it because I was tired. I had not slept in 2 or 3 nights, so I slept through, which I'm thankful for because I am terrified of storms. Always have been. Wasn't raised in Oklahoma. The first storm that we had when we moved back here from California, I was on the ceiling, basically climbing the ceiling because it scared me so bad. I'd go down in the cellar by myself just because it scared me. I've adjusted some, but I'm still terrified of them. Luckily, Stella is not. So she's the calm to my crazy. When we have storms, she just looks at me like, come on, settle down. It's okay. But we needed that rain. Needed that rain bad. We need more rain. But we could do without the storm. So just stay weather aware tonight, tomorrow. I think it's still out there that it could happen. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Have a great evening.